been stopped counting. I just record them when I record them. Today I got a question for y'all, right? And let's see, let's see how many people go with what I'm saying. Let's see how many people disagree with it. But am I the only one who has a strong dislike for love? And before I say that, I think love is a beautiful thing. I think when it's going right, I think that it is very beautiful. It has the potential to, conquer the world when it's done right. But in the moments when it's not, you know, beautiful, those are the moments that I dislike. I dislike it a lot. And the reason why is because there's so many emotions that derive from loving somebody and caring for somebody deeply. That's when people react in ways that they wouldn't normally do in a calm, cool, logical, just everyday life. They wouldn't do certain things, but they do this based off of love. And I dislike that love makes you feel like that, and love makes you react to things in such a manner that it's outside of yourself. You know, for people to stalk or pop up or just keep blowing somebody's phone up or keep taking somebody back who keeps doing something to them, for people to indulge in things like that. It's when I'm in situations like that, I really dislike it because I dislike the fact that on a day to day I can think logical and make rational decisions. But when it comes to, loving somebody and they did something you don't like, or, you guys stop talking, or whatever the case is, love will alter your thoughts and it will say, well, maybe it wasn't that bad, or, maybe you could, even though they did this, it's okay because, you feel like this about the person. Or it makes you do things that, like I said, you wouldn't do in a normal state of mind, and I really dislike that because I pride myself on, and it could be, I'm a Virgo, so it could be a part of my sign. It could just be a part of me, but I pride myself on making good logical decisions on a day to day. I pride myself on that. I don't Very rarely do I make a decision just off a whim. I don't do that. I like to, think about things. I like to make sure that when I'm making a decision, it's actually a good decision, whether it's just for me or whether it's for everybody else who's involved. I like to make, good rational decisions. So when love is involved, it alters your thoughts. And, that is the part that I don't like. I can use this for an example, right? A guy could talk to, and I'm not gloating about this or anything like that, right? But a guy could talk to four females and keep them all at arm's distance, right? And he can see them when he sees them. He enjoys their company when he sees them. There's no arguments or anything like that because, they're just sharing these particular moments. And then they go on about their business. The same guy could give all of that up and decide to, just deal with one woman and fall in love with this woman. And now, on top of the beautiful moments that they do have, right, he's dealing with added stressors, to maintain this happiness. He's dealing with moments of disappointment or anger or, just other feelings, sadness that are all derived from love. He's dealing with these for one person because he loves this person so much. And to be honest with you, that just bothers me a lot because I understand life ain't easy and I understand things come with, whatever decision that you make, and we all understand consequences. But it still bothers me that this is that and y'all might say like, yo, this guy probably needs therapy. That's cool. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. I don't know. Or maybe my mind is just, not thinking the same way as everybody else's. But, anything's a possibility. But all of these emotions that we feel, they're all derived from love. So once you have this foundation of love for somebody, you start to feel anger. you start to feel sadness and stuff because there's an expectation of love there. And when that expectation isn't met, that's when you start to, show all of these other emotions. And I really dislike that because like I said, I pride myself on logical thinking. And I also pride myself on being a mild mannered person who's cool and calm. So when I start to get out of character because of love, that bothers me because it's not who I truly am. It's what I'm doing and who I am in the moment based off of this strong feeling of love that you have for somebody. I don't like that. If I'm being transparent with y'all, when I had, you know, I was in a relationship and I remember, going through her phone and I did it once and I said I would never do this again because after I thought about what I was doing and I took a step back and I'm like, why am I doing this? And it's because you start to get this overwhelming feeling of love for somebody and you start to do things that you wouldn't normally do because you feel like your love might be in jeopardy or whatever the case is. But I had to really look back and say, yo, I would never do that again. I did that once, I would never do that again. I try to not open that door so much for me to fall that deep to where it's going to alter how I'm thinking and my actions and stuff like that. It's not worth it because at the end of the day you make a mistake or you do something out of the moment based off of love and you got to live with whatever consequences come from that. So I guess my question to y'all is, am I the only one who feels like that? Am I the only one who really dislikes love when it's in those moments? Love is beautiful, but there is a dislike that I have for it because of how it makes me feel in moments. If you feel like that, then, let me know. If you don't feel like that, you feel like I need therapy, you feel like I'm, whatever, off the rails or whatever, then let me know then. Let's just talk about it. But I just want to know y'all opinion on it. And, until the next episode, you already know who it is, man. It's your boy Ty Black, and we back again, man.